Hi, Christy Hill with Hill Prophetics. I have a home church that I go to every other week, but the Lord has been leading me to specific churches every other week. And this week I went to Millennial Church. And I don't know if this is going to matter to anybody, but if it's not a prophetic church, I don't get a whole lot as far as visions or prophetic words or anything like that. But yesterday, that service was so powerful. It was just incredible. But one of the things I saw, and I've seen this part before, I call it the parable of the flea. A flea is created to jump the equivalent of a 6-foot man jumping the height of a 90-story building. Now, Cityplex is 60 stories, so that gives you an idea of how far a flea can jump. They're created to jump. And however, if you put it in a jar and put a lid on it, it'll continue to jump, but it hits that lid, the limitation that has been put on it. Then you remove the lid after a while, and that flea will never jump any higher than the limitation that was put on it. So for people, even if that limitation is something you put on yourself, it just won't go any higher. However, with your church, and there is one way to get the flea to jump higher. It's to put it in a jar with other fleas that remember how to jump. And I believe that your church is called to help people remember what they were created for and how high they are to jump, that they can go so much further than they even believed. And it doesn't matter who put the limitations on. The limitations are off. Okay? So also, I'm looking at notes because I don't want to forget. I saw several things. Almost always when I'm in a church, I can see the level of the water rising. Sometimes it's high, sometimes it's not. Sometimes the Lord will show me the water rising. One time, instead of water, I saw wine, and it ended up being a powerfully anointed service and pretty anointed church. In your church, however, I saw oil in worship. I saw oil rising from the ground. And I found that significant given that Joseph Z got up there and started speaking about the anointing on the oil. So what that tells me is that you guys are an Isaiah 61:3 church. You know, a crown for beauty and, oh my goodness, joy. No, a crown for ashes, joy for mourning. Sorry, I couldn't even remember it. But I believe that that's who's coming to your church. Not who all is there right now, but I believe that's who's coming. But you are Isaiah 61:3. Also, I saw a phoenix flying around. And I didn't look it up or anything because I know that it's a mystical creature. It's not real. Well, I don't know. Once we get to heaven, we may find out they were real. But we had a conference in Tulsa a few years back, and our theme was the phoenix, and it's out of the ashes you shall rise. I saw this phoenix flying all through your church, all through your church. So there's so many that are already there that are coming up out of their ashes. There's only one other thing that I can remember. I saw salt being poured out straight from heaven, all over the place. But on the ground, there was no salt. And the people were soaking it up like a dry paper towel. When you get it right to the edge of water, it just is so thirsty, it soaks it up. But the Lord is pouring out salt all over your people. You're going to be salty again, and people are going to be so thirsty.